So what's interesting is the driver's seat has massage, the passenger seat does not, but the rear two seats do have massage. Oh, this is the most uncomfortable seating position. Why is that an option? We're gonna launch the front wheel drive XPeng X9. Still spinning, still spinning, still spinning. Spins to 90. Guys, I hit a button on the key fob. I hit this, I think, parking button. I'm not sure, but now the car's driving away. This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. This video is also brought to you by Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware, and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow at eaton.com/EVCI. Hello, good morning, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me in China with the XPeng X9. And this is their sort of super cool, super luxo van, but for a very reasonable price. So on this trip so far, I've had the chance to play around with the Li Auto Mega, the Zeekr 009, the Zeekr Mix, and now the XPeng X9. So I'm really getting in the electric van experience. And here in China, these things are all the rage. We don't have a single equivalent vehicle in the US like this, maybe the ID Buzz, but this is on a completely another level. And when you learn that this thing costs between $50,000 and $60,000 equivalent here in China, well, I think you'll be pretty impressed with it. It's not all good though. I'm gonna take you on a full tour of the XPeng, XPeng, well, I won't say it correctly, I'm sure, but I'm going to take you on a full tour of the X9 throughout this video and show you all the good, bad, and some of my favorite and least favorite features about it. I want to say a huge thank you to Climate Exchange for sponsoring this Out of Spec video. Guys, they are running their 9th EV giveaway raffle. And of course, we've been telling you about it over the last few months. We have entered the last month of the raffle. We're getting close to the end. At February 28th, it is the last day where they are going to be selling tickets. What will you get if you win? Well, if you win, they are giving away $120,000 worth of EV. That means you can choose a Rivian, a Cybertruck, a Model S Plaid, the list goes on. And they are, of course, including all taxes and fees for the winning prize. There's also a second and third place winner. The second place winner will get $12,500 towards whatever they want, really, cash prize, and $7,500 for the third place winner. For those of you who don't know, Climate Exchange is a non-profit helping states pass laws to fight climate change. They've sold well over half of the 5,000 tickets available, so don't miss out. So again, thank you to Climate Exchange for sponsoring this video. All you have to do is head to carbonraffle.org/outofspec. Having a van like this is all about the back seat, so I just want to give you guys a sneak preview as to what this thing looks like in here before I tell you a little bit about it. Now, we are traveling, so we have a bunch of our bags and stuff in here, so forgive some of the presentation, but I think it's cool because it shows like how you can actually use a van and what it can be used for. So let's start technical stuff first, and then we'll get into all the features, the settings, the driver assistance. We're gonna take it for a drive and actually drive it down the highway. We have no time for charging testing today. I only have this for a few hours and they gave it to us full, so there's no time to drain it, unfortunately. And by the way, I should mention, Alyssa joins me behind the camera. Hello, Alyssa. What is your initial impression of how this thing looks?
It is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
So I've heard two reactions, which is this is the coolest van. Some of my friends, like Mark from Inside China Auto and a few others, think this is one of the best electric cars on sale in this market. And then we came here and we're like, wow, this thing is not good looking. No. So, but I'm not a style guy, we all know that. But then we got to play around with it, Alyssa, and it's really cool. And the comfort is amazing, and the ride quality was really interesting. So there's a lot to play around with here, but it's the styling mostly from back here totally threw me off whatever is like going on here, where it like juts in, it looks like you've rear-ended something, or something has rear-ended you.
Yeah, that is just a little too bizarre for me and a little too out there. I don't know.
Speaking of rear-ended, this whole thing is apparently a China first sort of mega casting, front and rear giant die castings with an entire rear crash structure, where they say that it has one of the best rear end collision performances in crash tests.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, there's literally so much space
before you get to a person.
That panel is where that first seat is, but there's a third row. There is a third row, but if you don't have it, I mean, yeah, I can see there's a lot of crumple room.
Yeah, so there's a lot of innovations. It's an all-electric or all-aluminum platform here. It's built on SEPA 2.0, so that's sort of their second generation of architecture. And we'll tell you what the heck is in this thing. So you can choose one of two batteries. You can choose a roughly just under 80 kilowatt hour LFP battery pack, somewhere around there, 80 kilowatt hour-ish. And then you can get a just around 100 kilowatt hour NMC pack. And the NMC pack is a 3C charging. In fact, I think it's like 3.1C charging. So it's like just over 300 kilowatt charging performance. But most importantly is the curve. And that's one thing that we know from the XPeng X9 that's in China. They just charge deep into the pack at pretty good power. So this thing should hold an average charging power from 10 to 80% of over 200 kilowatts. And I think the sweet spot, according to our friends at evkx.net.com, don't know, but they always publish battery charging specs. They use a lot of our testing actually and publish it on their site. They're awesome. From like 7 to 60%, you're just maxed out. So that's a pretty good charging curve. In China, it's not industry leading. Actually, the Zeekr Mix, sort of a little bit smaller version of this car, of course, but the Zeekr Mix can get the golden battery, and that can charge 10 to 80 in under 10 minutes, which I've already shown you in a previous video on this channel, and that's just next level. So while this is almost class-leading charging performance in America, here in China, it's okay, just okay, but still totally acceptable. And XPeng has their own group of chargers. They've actually partnered with BP recently here in China to expand the network and bring it all holistically under control. Has route planning, plug and charge, all that stuff already enabled inside the car, which I'll show you more. So this one is actually the front wheel drive model, not the all-wheel drive model. And it's like just about 7.5 seconds, maybe, yeah, plus or minus to 60 miles an hour, because it's 7.7 seconds to 100 kph. It doesn't feel fast, it doesn't feel sporty, it's not meant to be. The thing that's really cool about a lot of the Chinese cars we've been testing is the extreme focus on comfort and rear seat passenger experience. This is all about throwing the family in, executive shuttle, whatever it might be, and just wafting along. So we're gonna come into it with this perception of just comfort, but this is not a performance car, this is not a weekend blaster, even though it has some cool attributes that you would think could make it drive pretty well. For example, it has a dual chamber air suspension, which they claim is one of the only standard dual chamber air suspensions. And then they also claim something that, I'm just gonna read this to you because I don't think it's even remotely true, which is right here in this briefing on the vehicle. It says it has the world's first active rear wheel steering system as standard. But like Cybertruck is as standard, Hummer EV came out before this as standard. So this launched not too long ago in 2024. Obviously we're getting to it now in early 25, but there's no way this thing launched with the world's first active rear wheel steering system as standard. World means world, not just China. It's also got some cool driver assistance functions. So XPeng has been known to be one of the very first brands, if not the first, to start integrating LiDAR functions in their vehicles. What's interesting is they're actually moving a little bit away from it with their new models. But this one is got the full big boy system. So we're gonna go on a drive and experience their city and highway ADAS. What's really cool about spending time here in China as well is a lot of these functions are like Tesla FSD-ish systems. in the US, there's only one system that kind of is approved and works well off highways. It makes turns, it does whatever, all of that stuff, and that's Tesla. Here, like every brand has their own version of FSD, and apparently this system should be really good in the city. We're gonna try it out. Also, if you're curious, I have a video previously on this channel testing the top system, which everyone sort of agrees is the best system, and it's Huawei's ADAS, and we did that in an Avatar 11 or 12, can't remember which model it was, but I think it was an 11, the 1.1. Okay, enough nerd talk. Let's open this thing up. Should we start by showing the front, the rear? What do you want to show first, Alyssa?
Let's start in the back.
Okay, good idea. So, opening up the trunk of this thing. First of all, of course, it supports phone as a key and all that stuff. They handed me this key as a backup. And one thing I just want to note, someone opened this tailgate and knocked the rear bumper, no big deal. It's got a couple dings and dents. This thing's got 25,000 kilometers of test miles on it, so it's probably lived a rough life. One thing that's interesting to note is like it feels very Kia, from design to materials. Like it feels almost like EV9 stuff. Now, I don't think there's any official relationship between XPeng and Kia, but it just has this sort of like quality-ish vibe to the materials, but they're not quite all the way super nice. Like the Li Mega is more expensive than this, but felt way nicer on the inside. So did the Zeekr Mix, actually. That used some better quality materials in places. But I don't want that to bring you down about the X9, because I think the value here is what really sells it, and also just the insane comfort. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unload the back of this. We'll throw our bags off to the side, and I'm gonna show you from the back, third row, second row, first row, a full tour of what really matters as what's going on in here. Not so much design or performance, but it's all about the interior cabin experience. So buckle up, we're going inside. Okay, rear tailgate speed test. Let's see how fast this thing opens up. Not super fast, borderline annoyingly slow, but still passable. Take a look at this in here. First of all, the loading height is so low. That is one of the benefits of a van, and one of the benefits of this being a rear-wheel drive van, or front-wheel drive van, is you have nothing going on back here. Since this one's a front-wheel drive, I have no idea if the all-wheel drive limits space or functionality, because you'd need to put a rear motor back here. But there's still stuff going on with the rear-wheel steering, and we'll talk about that during the driving portion. So perhaps there's no intrusion to cabin space. I'm just not totally aware if there is. This is more of a showcase. So, huge seats, huge space back here. This one has the captain's chairs, and I don't think those fold flat, but anyway, we'll get to that in a second. There is a third row, and it's right down here. So it's sort of got this almost stow and go like lucid gravity thing going on here, but it is completely powered, which is really nice. So I can just sit here, it pulls those up, and then the rear seat will come straight up. Then you're gifted this super low cargo floor, so you can really put some stuff in there. Under there, just warning triangle, vehicle kit, and then that will happen. So still plenty of trunk space back here, Alyssa. What's your impression?
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, all these bags, for the most part, can fit in sideways here, so you don't really need to fold down the seats. It really is usable space.
Okay, let's do a third row test. Let's see if I can get in there. So I'm gonna hit the button on the door. That's how you open it. Makes this nice little chime noise. And then I can see a little forwards button here. So I've clicked it once, and already powered seats are not always the most kid-friendly. If it's like raining and you want to just get the kids in the car, you go. But that really wasn't that bad. Here we go, inside the X9. And I actually have a button right back here that I can hit that does that as well, of forward and back, which is really cool. Alyssa, first of all, I just want to mention the view from back here is awesome. They have this giant wraparound. I don't know if you can see that sort of upper piece. And in this piece contains speakers, I believe. It contains, yep, speakers, ventilation, and lighting, all in this really cool, almost halo-like experience. Also, tons of room back here. Here, I'll grab this really quick and just show everyone what the heck I got going on. Tons of leg room, and this is not all the way back. The seat does go really far back. I'll show you that in a minute. And I have some adjustments here. So this is my backrest angle, so I can hit this and I can, whoa! Whoa, what the heck? Alyssa, can you show this? What is going on? Whoa! Oh, this is the most uncomfortable seating position. Why is that an option?
You can make it into a bed back there.
It's got enough power to pull me up. It's struggling though, but it's doing it.
Oh my God.
I've never seen a backseat. That sets a new record for backseat recline. How forward does it go? Oh my gosh, it'll squish you.
Yeah, it probably goes into reset mode.
So if you want to get into any position back here, you can. That's no problem at all. And then I have a power headrest adjustment, which is the right switch, if you can look just over here. So this is headrest and that's seat adjustment. That's really insane. Then I have a USB-C port and a cup holder back here, which is great. It's also a 3-seater across the back. So this is still technically a 7-seater with like 2 captain's chairs. And we recently reviewed the new Escalade IQ, Alyssa. That also had captain's chairs like this, if you can show everyone that kind of vibe, right? But that was impossible to get into the 3rd row.
That was terrible use of space.
Yeah, so this is the same idea, the same concept, but totally executed 100 times better than Cadillac did.
Right.
With the Escalade with executive rear seat package. All right, so back seat, totally comfortable, totally usable. I've got air vents, I'm happy. Let me hit the forward button on the 2nd row. There's even seat back pockets back here. This was a really cool 3rd row experience, have to say. They did a really nice job here. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of like grab handles, but I can just kind of crawl myself out way easier than, than the Escalade was able to, for me to get in and out back there. Okay, 2nd row seat. This is where it gets really special, in my opinion. Does this door open up anymore, by the way? No, that is maxed out. I love that I have a wireless charger in both rear seats right there. 50-watt wireless charger. That's big boy speeds. Oh, one thing we should do, Alyssa, we should drop the 3rd row. Once the 3rd row is dropped, this can go into like a super special mode. So let me show everyone how fast they fold down rather than folding up. So we'll open this back up. The 3rd row folds down and out of the way quicker than it comes up.
Right.
Not that much quicker, but it is quicker. By the way, there is a 12-volt back here and a subwoofer. Sound system's like marginally okay. We listened to it a bit. We didn't really spend time with the settings to dial it in, but it didn't give the impression that it was going to be like a wow experience, did it?
No.
So I guess you don't have to push and hold the button, which is nice. So these are going down. You can do 60-40. See, gravity helps. Boom. Okay, so now you can see just how much room there is on those rails where the 2nd row seats can go all the way back now, which is super cool. So let's do that. Into the 2nd row. One thing that's awkward about getting in, you have to somehow squeeze your butt up and over this thing.
Why don't you just push this?
That also helps. Oh no.
No, it didn't work for me. It's not, huh? I'm confused.
Push and hold? Push and hold? Nope. Yeah, but that's still not the best approach. I'm just saying in general, you still have to get into this area or up and over this really tall armrest.
Right.
Once you're in, it's nice, but it's a little bit awkward once you're in there. So what I think I do is I'll just do this and slide. Then you're in. It's not the end of the world, but it's just, I've bumped into this a few times that I've sat in the back so far. Okay, so first things first, I think what we should do is if you pop over on that side, Alyssa, I can give you guys a full tour. Well, to close the door, I'm just gonna hit this button right here. So the top one will close it from my side. Nice little chime plays, and here it comes in. First of all, it's got giant screens that come up, not powered, but again, this thing's 50 to 60 grand. So think of it as like the nicest Kia Carnival. It's really difficult, I think, from this central position, I've noticed, to get this screen unhooked from both at the same time. Yeah, I always get hung up on this one. So I wish that was powered, but again, for 50 grand, how much can you ask for? This is a pretty low spec, medium spec model because it's not all-wheel drive. So sitting in the seat, wow, uber comfortable. Got a nice little glass roof up here. We've got a TV screen that pops down. I can just hit this button right here on the door, and I can just hit this button right here on the door, he says, and then it comes down. And here comes down a pretty nice TV. I can hit this button and pull this tray out as well. I don't think it slides. No, it doesn't feel like it slides anymore, but that's just a nice little tray to have while driving. You can have this while, you know, I guess while cruising. And then I'm pretty sure this control, no, this is all seat controls. This must be the remote for the TV. This is going to get lost in a heartbeat. So then you can go over here.
It's touchscreen.
It is. Oh, well then what do you need the remote for? Nice work, Alyssa. Mindfulness space. The seat will automatically adjust to a comfortable position. I don't think we need to be mindfulness. Look at all this huge screen brightness. You can adjust screen angle. This is a gorgeous display. Wow, really cool. And we've got relax mode, zero gravity. That's what I'm going to show you guys in a little bit as well. I'm trying to see if we can pull up any car functions, which I think would be really fun. You okay getting in here, Alyssa?
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to find what angle you're looking. Here we go.
Okay, nice, nice, cool. So let's see what we can do here. We've got the AI assistant that's part of the vehicle, Huawei Hi Car, just a bunch of apps that we're just not familiar with because we're not necessarily from here. Cool, okay, so your home is your entertainment. Yeah, very cool. We'll close this up. What I want to do is show you the seating positions. So that's the massage functions.
Yeah, so see. Oh wait. Maybe there is front seat massage.
Nope, this is just second row. Yeah, so what's interesting is the driver's seat has massage, the passenger seat does not, but the rear two seats do have massage.
Right.
So the passenger seat's the one you don't want to be in. And I think that's also a cultural thing where, like, if you're a passenger, you just ride back here.
Especially if it's an executive car like this. It's
which is very common here.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining. I had Drew drive me around earlier. It was super nice. I'm going to go for the Awaken Vitality. And so I'm going to turn that on there. I can also control a lot of that from this control panel right here, which has seat adjustments. So what I'm going to do is put it into this super duper relax mode, zero gravity so-called mode. So, that's your side. Hold on.
Bye.
Standard, relax, standard, standard, stop. Okay, I'll put my side into zero gravity. Ready, Alyssa? So the passenger seat's moving up. Let's see how this works. This is, she said the second row seats are entering zero gravity mode. I always hate seating positions like this in a car. Oh my gosh. So my leg rest is still coming out a little bit more. Still going. There we go. You are already in zero gravity mode, it says. This is probably my least favorite seating position.
Not the best angle on camera either.
It just feels like everything is bad here. Would you mind reaching up and putting me back to standard? I can, of course, hit that button as a hotkey, which I just did to get it over with quickly. So that's a thing. I'm not sure who would ever want to sit like that going down the road.
Well, if you want to actually lay down to sleep, I would use that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't lay flat on my back like you do. I would just crawl over
Just
to
go
my
on that
side.
side. So then there's also a rest position. Let's see what that's like. Okay, so now it's going into the rest mode. See, this feels a little bit better. Yeah, I could deal with the rest mode.
Yeah, you're more of an upright kind of.
Our viewers will know this because I always have my seat straight up.
Yeah.
So this is rest mode. I could see that working pretty well, but I like to hit the hotkey for the standard mode. I also have a bunch of different massage, heating, and cooling, but you can't do it at the same time. That's lame. Failed that test. And yeah, in general, the second row seats are just pretty cool. We have some climate control options down here for like a ventilation settings, climate control settings. We've even got a freaking refrigerator.
Of course you do.
Because it's China. Every Chinese car has a refrigerator. Not every Chinese car, but a lot of them do. And you can go, you know, do you want it to be
freezer or heater?
Yeah, so you can go cold, heat, or heater, and you can adjust to 40 degrees Celsius or even more.
That's
So just a temperature controlled box. We'll turn it off to save energy, and that will go in right there. See, that stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit, especially for a family vehicle. That's nice. What you looking at here, Alyssa?
Well, your side has these.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta swipe it down.
You also have these cool cup holders. Oh, you have these cool cup holders. There you go. Nice. Why is yours not working? My side works perfectly. Maybe someone spilled something in your side.
Yeah, there looks like something sticky in there.
Okay,
They
nice.
don't really clean the cars as well as they do.
Yeah, press cars in China may mean something different. We also arranged this car last minute, so nothing against the car. It's all good. All good. All right, let's open up this, and we're going to make our way over to the front seat. I'm also going to raise the TV back up, and I normally would do that by hitting this button on the door. There we go. Oh, one last thing I wanted to check here, Alyssa, was there seems to be a window. This window goes down, which is nice.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so let's hit this. See if it goes all the way down. What? Come on. It was so close.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Still pretty nice. Yeah. All right, so window up, door open. And then this button right there controls the sunshade, which comes up here. And you can pull that up. Wonder what happens if it hits something. Oh, it really pushes. There's no like retraction mode.
It's making its way.
Yeah, it's doing its thing.
What really could get caught up there?
GoPro mount.
Okay, well, not everybody has a GoPro mount in their executive car.
Fair point. Okay, let's go. Welcome to the front seat of the XPeng X9. Obviously, this seat is going to primarily be used, I would imagine, by two different types of people. Either a chauffeur or executive driving service, or if like you have your kids and you're just driving them around and it's your daily driver. Because this is a surprisingly nimble daily driver with the rear steer, which is still pretty new in China. I mean, we're used to rear steer with Hummer and Cybertruck and Escalade and EQS. They have those here, EQS, SUV, and sedan, but they're not so popular in this market. So everyone's excited that this car has rear steer. We'll let them have the excitement. And there's a couple cool things going on here, first of all. We just have this little sunroof because of the screen. It doesn't mean you can get a full glass roof, but I still like how they gave you just a little piece of glass right here, which is pretty nice to have. We have a little glasses holder case, hazards, SOS, and I'm not sure to power off the vehicle. Oh, okay. So if you want to power off everything in the emergency, you press and hold the button for 5 seconds or press the button 3 times within a short period of time and the whole car will just die. Should we try it?
No, maybe after the video.
Okay, after the video we'll try that. Let's kill it. Yeah, let's not risk it not turning back on. I don't see why it wouldn't turn back on. But Alyssa, doesn't this feel very like next generation Kia Carnival to you?
Yeah, I mean, all I think about is all of the moms in the United States would freaking go crazy over this, like these vans, and just the usability and the functionality of them. I mean, maybe they don't really need executive seats, but hey, for 50 grand, I mean, geez, why not?
That's the thing. If it came to the US, it would cost a lot more.
Yeah, it would be around 100.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Probably 70.
It would be up there in price.
Yeah.
But,
and now it would be even more with huge import tariffs.
right.
So we're not seeing this in the US.
No, you're not going to.
Yeah.
So sorry, Utah moms.
There you go. Yeah, this would be a Utah mom's kind of car for sure. Okay, so yeah, I mean, things feel pretty normal. Nice wide seat. The seating position's great, actually. You can get pretty low. Wheel comes out really nice and far. You have this really interesting vent here where you can...
Makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second, but you can adjust the the air direction that comes out of this vent through here on the screen. This works pretty well. Some systems with these touchscreen air vent controls are super annoying, and it's now become some people's like least favorite feature in vehicles. I actually think this is done pretty well because I can get it roughly to where I want it to go. It's a little bit like Tesla in the sense where I'm okay with that, but then you have other systems like Taycan that's just infuriatingly hard to get, right where you want it to go. So yeah, anyway, this is part of the air management system, and it's okay, although Alyssa has a complaint, which is it's too loud. So even with the fan on a medium level, you were hearing a lot of noise out of this?
Yeah, it was very loud, and so therefore it's taking away from the experience of the music. I think it's because it has all those like little perforations and a lot of places for the airs to go through and whistle, and it gets bigger and smaller. So maybe not the best use of design, but just trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I didn't hear any whistling, but I heard some air noise.
Whistle, but it definitely was a loud air flow.
Okay, I can see this purifying function. So we're going through, it says, yeah, I don't know, some air management cleaning stuff, which is really cool. You have your seating, cooling, and heating, which you cannot do at the same time, unfortunately. And then there's different fragrances that you can have come through. So for example, we're on cedar right now, and it's playing a cedar music tone to go along with the vibe. And it's got top notes of orange and grapefruit, heart notes. This is fragrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got heart notes of pepper and geranium, and base notes of patchouli, cedar, lemongrass, and benzoin.
That's a lot to sniff.
Yeah, they really put a lot in here. Then you can go to calming woods, a different sound with someone singing. If you heard that in the woods, I'd run.
I would run very far.
This has a completely different fragrance profile. And it also gives you a great description of what the fragrance means, which I'll read just this to you. The fragrance starts with an invigorating citrus smell before fading into the fresh scent of green tea. For the heart notes, the smoky red tea fills the air with an aura of composure close to zen. The refreshing leafy smell of tea, along with ambergris, seems to take you deep into a lofty mountain with flowing water running through. A memorable and enchanting tour it must be.
Sure.
Should we read each one of those?
No.
Okay.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep it on cedar. I feel like that's the best one. So far I haven't noticed any smell of cedar. We drove over here on cedar.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I'm very, very sensitive to fragrance.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't catch much though, and we had it on max. And normally you hate it when we put it on the cars.
I'll get a migraine immediately.
Yeah. So you've got fragrance, which is pretty wild. We also have, automatic fan speed, which this is pretty noisy. Like on 5, that's really loud. It's 5 out of how much? 10. So at 50%, that's about what you would expect at 80% for fan noise.
Right.
We have cooling and heating max, so you can do max heat, max cool. You also have energy saving mode, exhaust protection. I guess that cleans the air coming in, and automatic vent control. There's also a refresh mode that will blast the air, crack the windows, and just kind of, please adjust the windows cautiously to prevent pinches. I guess that just gets if you have a smelly passenger in your car, and once they leave, you just...
Yeah, somebody farts.
Yeah, fart mode. There you go. That works too. Okay, what else do we have? So much to get into. Should we continue with the screen, or should I talk about the rest of this stuff first?
Let's talk about the rest of the stuff and then go into the software.
Okay, two wireless charging pads here, which is great. You have a fairly shallow center armrest with no USB ports, unfortunately.
They're all underneath me.
Yeah. 2 cup holders, which are perfect for these particular cups of coffee, like millimeter perfection. So we found those very satisfying. And then, Alyssa, if I can just steal the camera real quick, I can show everyone down here. USB-A port in 2024, 2025? What are they thinking? That needs to get out of here. So USB-A, USB-C, and then a 12-volt plug. This is your fragrance refill, those little cartridges right there. So that's what we're smelling through. And yeah, so that's what's going on down there.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, USB-A, what's up with that?
Well, I bought a hair dryer thing, and it was wireless, and it charges with the I always forget them backwards, but with the one you don't like.
USB-A.
So it might be still prevalent here.
It's possible, but in the US we're all at USB-C for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, hopefully we just all go USB-C. We can eliminate USB-A from our lives, which would be great. Great sun visors as well. You can look at yourself, blah, blah, blah. It has the correct color temperature according to Alyssa.
Yeah.
She prefers the white light in there. And yeah, it's just like a nice, cool cabin. I mean, it's a really cool view out the front. Windshield wiper check, normal wipers. No one in China is doing the old school van wiper thing. but they also don't come up high enough. Like these should be, that should be a taller wiper. You've got room, let it get right up to the max, in my impression. Horn test. Good horn. Steering wheel controls, so you've got temperature over here, but I think you can adjust this. Yeah, so I can...
One thing I want to note is that this screen that you're playing with right now has some kind of visual guard on it. So it's actually pretty dark, and when I was in this seat, I couldn't see it at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So it actually looks fairly dim to me. So if I can steal this again, well, let's flip around. You can see this center driver instrument cluster looks way dimmer than this screen, at least to my eyes. And then if you come over this way, yeah, goes completely dark. So just to show everyone this screen, so you've got, I can push and hold the left scroll wheel, and we can scroll through efficiency, map, music, tire pressures, you know, basic functions like that. Okay, this thing, like I mentioned, has quite a few kilometers on it. I think I can do the same with the right scroll wheel. Yes, and you've got the same information that you can choose. Does it let you choose two of the same? No, it goes to a different menu once you select over there. Then you've got track left and right and volume. This seems to be temperature adjustment. That's interesting. And then, you know, sort of a programmable hotkey that you can do. This one's set to auto parking. And then I guess you would just say, okay, I want to go into this spot instead. Don't know. We're going to do all the driver assistance testing later on, so stay tuned for some of that stuff coming. Rest of the screen features, Alyssa, there's some really cool stuff in here, starting with the base screen has this split view between driving functions and like autopilot type view and your normal map. And what I absolutely love is you can click and drag whatever portion of each you want to see. This is something I wish Tesla's had for a really long time. They recently, a couple years ago, made the driver assistance side like way too big, like this. And then your map, well, it's not quite that extreme, but they made it, well, maybe it just snaps to the nearest locked profile. Okay, but still, good idea that it's adjustable.
Right.
So anyway, Tesla, please do that. That's all I'm trying to say here. What else does it do? I'm just clicking buttons over here. So you have lock and unlock. You have your doors left and right. You've got charge port and trunk hotkeys. You've again got your slider for temperature adjustments that you can go through right there. Your car settings. And we'll get into that in just a moment, but you've got a 360 cam that you can go into this 3D mode. There's Drew. Hey, Drew. What's Drew doing? So we can go all around. He's just standing there. Okay, cool. We've got climate control, showed you that. Trunk open, more hotkeys for opening and closing. Some music selection. One thing that's missing, I think, is you're either a volume slider here or a temperature slider in the bottom right. And perhaps it's customizable so that you can pull that up as well, because that would make sense. We also have a bunch of applications from maps to real-time VR assist, which is this one, to air conditioning. Can you program what goes where? I'm not totally sure. No, but you can move these apps around a little bit. Screen mirroring, DVR, which is like built-in dash cam and Sentry mode and stuff like that, has all of that. And then just downloadable apps such as Bilibili, which is like the Chinese YouTube, or I'm sure you can get Red Note and a few other things on here as well. So just a nice, really good user system. It's super fast and snappy. It's powered by the Snapdragon 8A291, but it's the P version. It's the new super snappy one. So it's a pretty good chip. And let's try route planning really quick. Let's see what happens if we type in Beijing, which we actually just did this drive a couple days ago, Shanghai to Beijing, which was crazy. What? It's switched to Chinese? Oh no, Beijing. Maybe because what I can do is I can, oh wait, that is Beijing.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I just have to hit route. Yeah. It says 2 recharges needed. Let's see how it does. That was just a Kyle Connor error on not knowing how to do it.
That was quick.
That was quick, but I don't think it, yeah, it says unreachable. It hasn't quite put in the charging stops. I think we need to click that zap icon. And then it says...
You add the waypoints.
That's not good.
Maybe try just having it go.
Yeah. Let's start. Unreachable.
Well.
It definitely does route planning. Huh. What?
Maybe it's a settings.
Yeah, settings, because I know it does route planning because
EV routing right there.
yeah, is on, and then it will say enter the station with a battery level of 0, 5, 10%, charge the battery to, I wish that wasn't a setting. It should just charge whatever it needs to get to the next, but I have it selected at 80%. So I've got route planning on. Don't know, Alyssa. That's weird, isn't it? Should we try one more time? We'll hit this one. Route generation in Pro. Okay, traffic jam, unreachable. Maybe you do need to hit this. And add waypoint. Let's look just for XPeng charging. So there's no XPeng charging until we get up there. Ultra?
没问题.
No, your little ultra guy came up.
Oh, go away. That's weird, isn't it? That doesn't seem like great route planning. It's very possible we're doing something wrong, but as far as I can tell, it should just automatically route.
Right.
And route planning's on. So that's a miss. Okay, definitely worth, when we play, we're going to get XPeng cars back on the channel and play around with them a little bit more, either in Europe or here in China. We're going to play around with this a bit more, because if that is how it's supposed to be, that's pretty unacceptable. I hope some XPeng drivers can comment below if their route planning is good or bad, because it has the settings for route planning, so it should just auto do that. We can see when you click the battery icon, it pulls up your vehicle settings menu, and you can get to a bunch of details about efficiency, about how you've driven, different suspension modes for maintenance. You've got your window control, so you can control all of your sliding and things through here. You have unlocking and flashing settings, just normal bunch of car settings. I'm going to stop at just the ones that I think are noteworthy. Headlight controls, super popular in China to be able to dip your lights. I believe it's by regulation. Position mode, light beam is 2 different views for the light bar up front, which is cool. And you can play light signal when unlocking. Different signals can go, play light signal while charging, all of these things, and different effects. All the seat settings, very similar to what you guys saw in the rear. You have drive mode controls, which is cool, so comfort, standard, and sport. I've also created an individual mode, which is maximum power, comfort steering, spicy brake pedal, suspension height in the middle for comfort, but you can drop it 30 millimeters from standard. It has 90 millimeters of suspension adjustment, which is just massive. And then a bunch of different suspension stiffness, because it does have adaptive damper as well. We have everything in normal ride height, maximum comfort, which should really give you the best ride possible. Smart chassis is there, and then there's this X pedal regen, which isn't one pedal driving when we have it selected, and I really thought it would be. I'm not totally 100% sure what it does, but we're going to switch to high regen to see if we can get one pedal driving on. Then you have basic functions like ESP and comfort braking, which is really, I don't think any cars in the US have this yet, but with a blended brake-by-wire system and just the driving habits in China especially, a lot of people are not very good at just coming to a smooth stop. When you come to a stop and like your head jerks forward, nothing drives me more crazy than that. So this is like, unless you're in emergency braking, you can keep a singular brake pedal position, and then just at the end it'll lift off and you can smoothly come to a stop, which is, I think, a really nice feature. I've used it in a few cars so far, like the Xiaomi SU7 and a couple others, and it's just been a fantastic function. Of course, you're in emergency braking, that function is overridden. Here you have your global perception intelligent co-driving menu. So this is like a real-time VR assist. So if there's an issue with tire pressure or something, it'll pop up. There's overspeed reminders. We're going to turn that off. And a bunch of other options in here. And then little videos to tell you what's working. So when a car in front of you pulls away, it'll pull up the video and then show you, or I should say this video is displaying that, hey, this is what the function will do. It'll let you know that the car in front has driven away. We have a bunch of driver assistance functions. That's going to be a main portion of our driving review of this vehicle. It's got a bunch of lane centering, auto lane change, traffic light control, bypass.
Exam.
Yeah, there's an exam. We'll get into that in a second. It's a QR code. If you zoom in on this, Alyssa, our viewers can actually watch the exam.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see what the review exam driving function, you can take a look and see how that all works. So there's a navigation guided pilot. This is urban and highway driving based off navigation. So like FSD in a sense. It'll work in city roads all the way up to highway, which is very cool. Unmanned lane change. So you can do a conservative lane change or just keep it normal. If you want speed offsets, flashing lights, and honking to give alerts. So, you know, it'll actually honk and flash the lights at people, which is really cool. If you want, so I've turned that on. Tesla doesn't do either of that yet. So I think it's kind of cool that this will start telling other people.
Yeah, it's a little offensive in America to honk and flash, but here it's just kind of like a, oh, beep, beep, I'm coming through. It's a nice thing to do so people don't run into you versus...
Totally. Like, you don't want to inadvertently flash someone in the U.S. or honk at them.
Flash ever.
And here it's just, you know, you're just communicating with your lights and horn, and, you know, you can cut in front of someone. Whenever it gets upset, they're like, oh, you were more aggressive than I was, whatever. And yeah, so it's just totally different styles of driving. And I think you're right, Alyssa, this probably would not be good to test. Turn that off.
That would give me so much anxiety in the States.
Here you can honk at someone, they don't even think twice about it. So, okay, voice assistant. There's pedestrian warning zones from the outside. You can choose that. One cool feature is all of your navigation instructions come in through the headrest. So if you're a chauffeur and you don't want the backseat passengers to be disturbed.
None of the rest of the headrest have it.
Yeah, it's just two like communication speakers that come in through here. So as you're driving, only you really hear it, and it's pretty loud though. But yeah, I think you can maybe adjust the volume. Doesn't seem like it. So private mode, we'll just keep it right through here. Driving mode. Let's try private mode for a bit. No one else should be able to hear that one. And then bunch of other settings, safety stuff. Wow, cool. Charging settings. So they recommend a 90% daily charging limit. We have the big battery, I believe, in this one. Maybe not. Maybe we actually have the LFP, because I think 500 something kilometers of range is the LFP, and then 700 kilometers of range is if you get the 100 kilowatt hour pack. I wonder if this says...
No, that's just your registration card.
Yeah, no, I know, but like in German registration, I've never looked at Chinese ones, you have to say what battery you have. This says a VIN number, engine number, that's interesting. Address, has the weight of the vehicle, and the dimensions of the vehicle, but not battery capacity. Yeah, I don't think there's really a way for us to know what the spec is on this one, other than this. So this is the front wheel drive 235 kilowatt model. This is equipped on every Chinese car. These are the stickers that have to be placed throughout everything here. And what I don't see is, oh no, this is the big battery, 702 kilometers of range. Interesting, because it's showing 480, but I have it displaying in WLTP, that's the thing. If I go to CLTC, then at 84%, it's 591. But WLTP is a bit more realistic, and even less, both are less realistic than EPA. So we all complain about our EPA range we're never able to achieve. Come to China. You really won't be able to achieve CLTC. That is just such a bad calculation, in my opinion. So there is a battery health protection that will basically, after you charge to 100, bring you back down to 90%. And again, right now we are at 84% state of charge. There's preconditioning time window. So if you leave every day at 8 a.m., it can precondition the charging and the battery heating to end at that time. You can have manual battery preconditioning. The battery's already at the optimal temperature right now, which is great. We preconditioned on the drive over here. There's a bunch of other settings, display, device connections, stuff like that. It's really cool software, really cool stuff. I think we should go take it for a drive now. What do you think, Alyssa?
Yeah, let's get on the road.
So let's get on the road. Let's go cruise in the XPeng X9. So you can see I've parked the X9 here in the middle of a parking lot, and that's typically not a great thing to do. But let's say you get to the front of a shopping mall and you just want the car to go find parking. Well, I can push and hold the parking button on the key, or I assume you can do this from the phone app, which I don't have. I can then hit a button on the key and it will now automatically find a parking space that's suitable for it, and it should just go. Unless I canceled it by accident. Let me put it back into parking mode. Parking mode's on, select. Is it double click? Yeah, double click. Still figuring, we just got this like an hour ago. We only have it for the day. And now it's driving. Where are you going?
That's why we were so confused when it first was moving.
Yeah, I did it by accident the first time. It just started driving away.
It finds its own way.
Yeah, it just chooses whatever spot. I don't know how it makes the
It must have
determination.
been offended by all the bags there. So,
Right.
um,
Is it going to hit the thing? Whoa, got right up on it. No rear steer in this mode. Isn't that interesting? So it shuts off rear steer in its auto functions.
That's too much for it to comprehend.
Yeah, maybe it can't comprehend the rear steer. And then,
bump.
oh, perfect. I mean, that's a really good parking job. So that is actually a pretty useful feature. And cars here do this. I was with my buddy who has the Avatar. We were filming a video and we're like switching to go film something else, and we couldn't find a parking spot anywhere in the garage. So we just got out at the entrance to the mall. He just hit a button on his phone and the car left. I have no idea where it went. And we got back to it and it was perfectly parked in this great space, like 3 floors down. I don't know what was going on, but it was far away.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was amazing. And so this is a thing here where you can just have your car auto valet. They scan the parking lot so the cars know where they can go. And you just see cars in parking garages with no one inside of them, which is hilarious. So let's load the bags back up and take this thing for a rip. Oh, one last feature. You can see it's really far back in the spot right now. So let's say that, you're in a parking lot, which are really tight parking spaces here because they got to cram a bunch of cars in, and you want to squeeze to get in the car. This isn't totally exciting or unusual, but you can actually hit the same parking button and it will pull itself forward so you can open up the trunk and actually get inside and have some room to move around. So that just pulls itself just a little bit out of the space to give you some room to get in. It's a really nice feature. It's time to drive the X9. We're gonna first start just by driving it around a little bit, and then we'll use some of the driver assistance functions. To get all that set up, I'm just gonna show you some of our driver assistance settings. So we have lane centering control on, auto lane change on, traffic light and stop sign control on, bypass obstacles by crossing a lane line. So that means it'll like go into, like a solid line to just go around something on. Navigation guided pilot on, beta. All of these features are beta, some of them at least. Lane change by voice. You can initiate an automatic lane change through voice commands. I mean, I can just hit a turn signal too. And then unmanned lane change. Okay, so we have that in standard, not conservative. Speed limit offset is 10%. One tap quick activation to activate. Quickly press level once. So if you don't want just adaptive cruise control, you can just pull down one time. Man, they really just copy Tesla. That was like a big thing, wasn't it, Alyssa? Yeah, where like there was this XPeng taking Tesla's thing, and the settings are the same. So like, I'm not saying they have copied Tesla, but it also kind of feels like they did. So rear steer is working, but it's not very aggressive rear steer. So typically with rear steer in vehicles, you get like 10 degrees. This is maybe 3 degrees, 2 degrees. Doesn't feel like much. It's enough to make it feel more maneuverable, but the rear steer in many cars actually comes in from when you turn the wheel initially. That's when you'll like get maximum rear steer to give you this super cool pivoting vibe. This, you really got to put some lock in the wheel to get the rear wheels to start working. So the rear steer I don't actually think is as helpful as maybe I wish it was. Here's the Xiaomi SU7 in the correct color. This is the spicy trim, not the super crazy one that's not out yet, but this is the one we drove when we had the opportunity. Sorry, brake pedal's a little bit grabbier than I thought, but we also have it in sport brake pedal mode now. Man, that Xiaomi just looks awesome. Full video already on this channel on that car, live now. So super comfy suspension as we make our way over to the toll gate. We're gonna pay our parking fee and then we'll get out on the road. We are now out on the road in the X9 and things are good. First of all, the seating position is awesome for a van. I mean, a lot of vans, you just sit with the wheels so far away from you, but I feel like I can actually get in like a really comfortable spot. The wheel comes super far out, which is awesome. And it just feels really nice to sit in this thing. I also have massaging seat functions, which is really great. Heated and cooled as well. So it's like a really comfortable place to just sit and do miles and yeah, enjoy the time for sure. So what we're going to do is first talk a little bit about just the low speed stuff. And there's no one pedal driving, best I can tell. There is the smooth stop function, so you have to use the brake pedal. But even when we go over to the XPeng pedal, if I go to drive and we come over here to X pedal, we'll turn this on. Boom. There's also no like auto hold is on. There's no creep mode function that would override this. It just has pretty good regen. So like definitely slowing down reasonably. Does it go higher? No one's behind us, of course. If I go to high, it actually goes down quite a bit. So you want X pedal on, but then if I let off, it kind of just coasts along, slowly coming to a stop. And now it's just inching along at 2 kilometers per hour, just rolling. 1. And then, will it hit 0? No, you have to use the brake pedal. Let's launch it. Big delay on throttle input and just front wheels really, really struggling. Now, earlier when Drew was driving it, we felt a lot of torque steer and pull left and right. There, I didn't even have my hands on the wheel just to see how straight it would go, and it did a pretty good job of just getting the power down. But it's laggy. It's just got this not very well optimized throttle pedal, so you put your foot down even in sport mode, and it's just a significant delay as to when it actually gives you power. And that is a problem I've had with so many Chinese cars, is they just are not driver focused. I mean, even if you drive like the cheapest, crappiest BMW or Mercedes or especially Tesla for that matter, they really do drive well. Like they have great throttle, they somehow still care about the handling. This is just, and then it goes. It's just crazy how delayed and laggy everything is. So then you go, okay, this isn't about fun driving, which it's clearly not. This is the front wheel drive slow version. Can you drive smoothly? And that's where things actually get really nice. If you're just kind of cruising around the city like we are here in the Shanghai-ish area, we're sort of in the suburbs of Shanghai, man, does it just do the thing really well. It's super comfortable with the suspension in Comfort Plus, with the ride height up a little bit to give it a chance to work when you hit bumps like we're about to here. Totally just smooths everything out. You do get a little bit of body motion, but it's a, it's a big vehicle, of course, but it's totally fine. Over 5 meters long, and it's calibrated pretty damn well. So it's just like a good daily cruiser. We're going to do a quick braking test since they brag about their braking stuff. So 50 kilometers per hour to 0. Everyone holding on. Bags are going to be secure?
Nope.
No.
Nope. 3, 2, 1. Stuff gets squished. Oh no. Are we alive?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay. So the brakes felt good. Brake by wire, so you can just feel it clicking away when ABS comes in. And that is not the smooth stop function. So the smooth stop function is we'll get up to 50 kilometers per hour. I'm going to keep my foot constant pressure on the brake pedal like this, and I'm not going to change the pressure. So constant G load, and then, oh, nice. It just lets up right at the end and comes to a very gentle, just very smooth stop. Love that function. We're going to get on the highway and try some of the driver assistance and stuff in a little bit. So I think in order to do that, we will pull over, put in our destination, and get moving over towards the big city of Shanghai. Guys, you join us on the LCC system. So it's doing this intersection automatically here and doing all the city stuff that it wants to do. So I'm going to make this screen bigger so you can see what it's looking at. And it's pretty cool to see everything here. Now, there are interesting driver assistance systems in this market, such as Li has a really good one. NIO had an okay one. Huawei has, I think, the best one. I have not tried the Li one. And then also, this is really cool if you're just in an area that you're not super familiar with. It should be able just to do everything for you. So we'll see how well the XPeng system works. So let's, once the light goes green, see how well it does. Okay, we are off. Let's see what the system does. Making a right turn automatically now. Feels like we're going into the wrong lane. No, that was okay. Just cut it close a little bit. It's a little bit hesitant to hit the throttle, and then we go. So this is a system with 2 LiDARs and a bunch of cameras. XPeng's new driver assistance in their cheaper cars, like the Mona, which was, I think, developed specifically for Didi, which is like the Uber here in China. That one uses just camera only, so I'd be really curious to see how that does. Will it see this car stopped in the middle of our lane? Yes. It's a signal light intersection ahead. It'll be green for 33 seconds. Will it beep at this guy? We have auto beep on. No, it didn't beep. So Drew's actually back here. But Drew, did you know this system will beep and flash now?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's very Chinese.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, weird. It's like thinking it wanted to go into left lane, but there was a car right there. So now it says overtaking is imminent. And it's doing it. And again, not touching anything. The car is doing all of this driving for us. This is a system that gets huge over-the-air software updates pretty regularly. I hear from owners of XPeng vehicles ask for just a little bit of hand on the wheel action there. Very infrequently it asks to touch the wheel. And it's doing a good job so far. It's just a little bit awkward. The system from Huawei that I experienced was just amazing. It felt totally natural. It was in a hurry. It was like just knife in through traffic. I really, really enjoyed that one. The Tesla FSD system is not available in China. Don't know if I've mentioned that yet, but Tesla does not have full self-driving here. Just enhanced autopilot is the maximum. You can see it knows how long the light will be red for, another 30 seconds or so. It's got the stop line right up here. And yeah, we'll pick this up when we get on the highway, but that is how it works in sort of a empty urban environment. We're definitely going to put this thing in a city environment and show you how it works when it gets pretty crazy. We are now merging onto the highway, and it has been doing everything wonderfully for us so far, and very impressed with the system. I mean, wow. I didn't realize it was going to be this capable. Let's see if it can merge up to speed here. It needs to get on the throttle a bit more. So it's a little bit lax on the throttle. Check it out. Wuling bingo, Alyssa.
Bingo! Look at you go.
Full video also on this channel, on that one. And this one's the hot thing here. This is the Lee, that's the L9 big boy. He's using his driver assistance because you can see the cyan colored lights on the side of it.
Yeah.
Were you able to catch that at all there, Alyssa?
Yeah, they saw it.
Nice. So I think it's cool that they have a communication light when they're on their driver assistance functions. And Drew, I'd say we've seen probably 30 to 40% of Lee drivers using it.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, real high percentage.
Really cool to know that they're on it. That's interesting. I feel like that might make you mess with them a little bit, but then also that's, it might not be the average person's way of thinking.
Yeah,
might be good for it though.
I think it's good. Yeah,
it can learn, so it can learn more.
Yeah,
you never know when American's going to be
here. It actually goes, yeah, I'll just crash into you. Drew, what's the impression from the backseat on this thing? You also drove it for a bit. Share with what you think of the X9.
Yeah, I thought it was. Really just I feel like the way it feeds in a bit more power at higher speed. The torque steer was pretty extreme, like pulls pretty hard to the left when you're on the throttle. But very van-like, like compared to the Lee Mega, that actually felt pretty connected and like handled well while being comfortable. This feels like a van. But yeah, really nice, very comfortable back here. I think your basically like high-end Kia Carnival analogy is perfect.
It's what it feels like. It's like the same materials that like Genesis would use.
Right.
Yeah. So if Genesis made a van, they should just buy this.
Good value.
One other point I wanted to bring up in this video is Volkswagen is partnering with XPeng in China. So Volkswagen will build Volkswagens in China and engineer them here in collaboration with XPeng's electrical architecture and maybe even vehicle architectures. So a lot of what we're seeing here from this screen, user interface, control module, ECUs will be shared over to Volkswagen. And I would say nothing about this car gives me a singular vibe of Volkswagens from the past. So none of the switch gear, none of the interaction points, and honestly, that might be a good thing. because Volkswagen needs to redo their complete interaction strategy from HMI to, you know, really everything in the car. And this is better, but I still feel like there's other brands that might be doing some of this stuff even better than XPeng. I mean, we started with the Li on this trip, and I think we got super spoiled because that Li was dialed
in.
Totally.
Yeah, we had a very short list of things we wanted to improve about that car.
What's weird though is the Li is not selling that well here because of the design. Everyone agrees technically it's perfect, but the design is
and for a van, I totally disagree. I think it looks just different and interesting enough to be like one of the best looking vans.
Yeah.
And it's a van anyway, so why do you even care what it looks like?
And it looks better than this.
Looks way better than this. This is the beluga whale.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I mean, I gotta say, if you're looking for like 50, 60 grand, this is less money than the Li Mega, and it's got great driver assistance. It like cruises nicely on the highway. It does the thing. This thing rocks though. I mean, I haven't touched the wheel since we started this drive.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think, yeah, switching that mode seemed to have made a big difference.
Yeah, valet route. I don't know if it is supposed to or not, but that was the key to all of this. So cruising into Shanghai at the moment, and they're using their ADAS. We're using our ADAS. Welcome to China. We will share more clips. We have this for the next couple hours, but we got to go film some Neo stuff. So we'll be back towards the end of the day. It might be dark by the time we get back with you guys with more updates to finalize this video. But the impression of the X9 is like clearly a great value for money. Tons of technology, tons of comfort. But at least in this specification, it's not like fun to drive at all. But this is the type of driving that is, we've now been to many cities in China. This is how you drive here. You just sit in flowing traffic on straight roads, and you just don't want to feel any bumps. You want to crank up the music and cruise, and this is perfect for it. So I'm a real big XPeng X9 fan. This thing is great. Alyssa, final thoughts before we get to the clips at the end of the video?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's a really great car. It reminds me a lot of kind of like the marketplace of the Model Y. It just does everything so great, but in terms of like, there's so many other great things out there that you can experience, but this one is just kind of a very good, solid overall package.
Yeah, it's a really good package. I think they've ticked the boxes from technology to comfort that they needed to tick, and yeah, sweet. So, all right, catch up with you guys in a little bit. We've got to get to work. We're auto lane changing. Thing works awesome. This is amazing. Welcome to China. One thing that's funny, we mentioned there was torque steer in this, and if I just floor it real quick, you'll see it has to fight against its own torque steer because they're on the driver assistance. So you floor it and it goes, whoa! Let's do it again.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the left side of the lane.
It's making a lane change now. Yeah, it just was like, why do we have torque steer in 2025? Just put the motor in the back where it should be. So in China, guys, that Buick GL8 that you see on the screen there, that is like a super duper popular van, and they're used by, you know, high-end Ubers or anything. I just can't for the life of me understand why you would buy that over this when that has no driver assistance tech, really. And we've still been going, and I haven't touched the thing since we left, and we've been driving for like 25 minutes now. I'm not here to say this system is perfect. It drives sometimes a little bit robotic. It is pretty loose in its lane. It's not structured, so it'll cross the line at times, but also it drives, Chinese people do drive like that, where they're just kind of flowing down the road a little bit, so you always got to be careful. But it just needs to, at times, be more aggressive than it is, and just kind of like, we should be in the right lane now, making progress type thing. And perhaps in the future through updates you can adjust these settings. But yeah, why would you buy that Buick GL8, Drew? That we were in one of those. Those are terrible.
And those are gas only, right?
Yeah, gas hybrid. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just felt old and outdated. Yeah.
Yeah, this is at least cool and modern and right with the times. Well guys, there you have it. That was a fun day with the XPeng X9. What a cool vehicle. I mean, overall, just the shape isn't totally my favorite, but the way this thing goes down the road is really nice. The driver assistance, while I think it's still lacking some confidence in this one, it can get some updates. It's been doing like zero takeover, really nice drives, and it's been getting me all around the city. So I have to give it huge props for actually being completely usable and really awesome, especially on the highway. The lane changes, it's really awesome. This thing is one hell of a cruiser. Love how much space there is. The rear seats are really cool as well. Like, it's an awesome vehicle. And then like the price really just makes this unbeatable. For 50 to 60,000 US equivalent, I can't think of a more comfortable, better daily driver than one of these. And especially if you are a kid with cool parents, this is the thing you want to be cruising around in, with those massaging second row seats with that huge TV. So absolutely super impressed here. There is room for improvement though. I think the drivetrain calibration needs to be improved. The single motor only should have been rear wheel drive, not front wheel drive. You're always spinning the front tires, and there's really just no performance cred here. So I think if they could just pull a little bit of that great driving dynamics that the Li Mega has, maybe a little bit more fun that the Zeekr Mix has, this really could be it. While on paper, when you factor in price, this may be the smartest choice of all the electric vans, it's not the one that's totally captured my love. I would still choose Li Mega 009 Zeekr Mix over the X9. The rear steering is cool, but I'm very used to rear steer in the US, and it's not as aggressive as I was hoping it would be. I think it should have more angle to it. So I think it's just the overall package, the feeling of things is great for the price, but yeah, if you just work a little bit harder, you can get a Mega, which I absolutely love. Of course, if you go for one of these, it's still an amazing car with great charging performance and fantastic technology. So if you end up with this, I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. And if anything, if you're from the US and we won't ever be able to get this, maybe one day, fingers crossed, I think it's one hell of a cool vehicle to see what's going on here in China. So thanks so much for watching and joining for my full tour and first drive of the XPeng X9. I wish we had more time to do charging tests, range tests, all of that stuff, but this trip is just quick hit vehicles, and maybe we'll come back again, maybe either in Europe or the US, to spend more time with this one and really test it for you guys. So see you in another one again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.